One second. Now,
We'll probably let Jay Rich speak, since he's a surveyor.
if you think it's, I should, you heard me just decline.
Yeah, that's fine, that's still comfortable.
Unless you still remember the church.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good.
All right, I now call the August 18th, 2016 meeting of the Madison County Board of Adjustments to order. Will you call the roll, please?
Jimmy Rogers,
Here.
Howard Bowden,
Here.
Wayne Pinkowski,
Here.
Ralph Oliver,
Here.
George Dillon.
Here. The first item of business is to look at the minutes from the last meeting we had last month. I actually reviewed them, looked over them. Everything looked okay to me. Did anybody see any issues with them? Have any questions? If not, I'll open the floor for a motion on those.
I move we accept the minutes. Second motion.
Call the roll, please.
Ralph Oliver,
Yes.
Wayne Pinkowski,
Yes.
Howard Bowden,
Yes.
Jimmy Rogers,
Yes.
George Dillon.
Yes. All right, gentlemen, we have two items on the agenda tonight. We have a dimensional variance for 1185 College Hill Road. I guess someone is here to speak on that behalf.
Yes.
And we have a conditional use permit at 671 Brookstown Road. We'll do 1185 College Hill Road first. If you want to come to the podium, state your name and address for me, please.
My name's Jay Webb, Central Kentucky Land Surveying.
All right. Mr. Webb, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
I do.
All right, continue.
We're looking at a dimensional variance for the front building setback. As you're aware, it's supposed to be 125 feet from the center of any state highway. We're proposing to reduce that to 75 feet. There will be an acre division. If you see the site plan we've provided, it doesn't show on the monitor. We have a proposed 1 acre divide that will be adjacent to College Hill United Methodist Church. We propose for that 1 acre lot to be reduced to 75 feet for the purpose of this building. As you can see, it'll have a large front porch on it. And the reason we're asking for the variance is basically aesthetically to line it up with the other buildings that the church has with the road. And if we go the full 125 feet, it puts it behind those buildings, as well as you can see on your map, the cemetery. So you'll be looking right out the front door, sitting on the porch with fellowship, and have the tombstones basically right there. So if we pull it up in line with the other buildings, it'll look better from the highway, as well as kind of buffer the cemetery from the front porch of this building. If the variance is approved, we will be coming back with a minor plat, which will transfer the 1 acre lot from Ms. Williams to the church, and doing a full site development plan with stormwater, parking, retention, all of those things. This is our first step before we proceed any further.
Looks as though the existing church, the church part, not the Fellowship Hall part is, it's probably like 25 feet or 25 to 50 feet from.
The actual church building is very close to the
Right.
highway, yes, sir.
So just to clarify, you're asking for a variance of 50 feet.
A
You know, you're
reduction
going from
at
100,
50 feet.
125 feet to 75 foot, so a variance of 50 foot for the new structure.
Yes, sir.
50 foot variance, okay.
And I believe we have to have one of the applicable reasons. I feel the reason the special conditions do not result from the previous actions of the applicant. They had no control over where the cemetery was placed, so working with existing features of the property.
Okay.
Now, when you asked for the variance, it was from the eaves of the covered porch to the center of the road.
Yes, sir.
I realize that.
Yes, sir.
George, I think we need to have a conversation real quick before we go any farther. I didn't realize until just now that the church doesn't own this property yet, and that the parcel hadn't been subdivided yet. I don't believe they can ask for a variance on somebody else's piece of property. They don't own it. And I don't believe they can ask for a variance on a piece of property that doesn't exist yet. This becomes part of the deed. It gets recorded and it stays with the property. But there's no property for it to be recorded with yet. There's no deed for it to become a part of because it's not been subdivided yet. So I think it's appropriate maybe to have a discussion and kind of feel the board out as to how they feel about it. But I don't think we could take any official action on it, and
Very good point.
we probably need to consult with the Board of Adjustment's attorney
We've
Because-
done it exactly like this in the past. I'm
Well,
not sure, you know, I
that doesn't mean
understand.
that's the right
That
way to
was
do
usually
it.
our first
So
step before.
it'd be like
before they
me coming
proceeded
and
any
saying, I
further.
wanna get a piece of, I wanna get a. I
We
want-
did make application under Ms. Williams, the current owner. We did
So
make
she's- has
application
she
under
signed
her
that
name.
application?
Yes, sir.
Is she willing to make that variance part of the, basically we have to apply to the whole piece of property at this point. How many acres are we talking about for the whole piece of?
I have a copy of her old survey here with me. Her entire property consists of 9.85 acres,
And how much road frontage on College Hill?
roughly, including her home, which is, again, closer to the road than even the 75-foot would be.
So there's already a structure on the property
Her
that's,
home, yes,
that's
sir.
too close to the road.
Yes, sir. It's 100, well, it's not too close. The home was there way before the 125-foot building line was put into effect. You're looking at 100 feet, almost 300 feet, so roughly 500 feet.
So I think since she's the one that's making application by
She's
her
making
signature,
application,
the
yes.
board needs to understand that they're not just gonna be approving the, whatever frontage it is for the 1 acre. They're gonna have to approve it for that entire parcel. Now, I'm not saying they will, or
So 1185 College Hill Road, that address doesn't exist yet.
It's a proposed 1 acre tract,
Okay.
1185.
So the variance is actually gonna be for 1209 College
if that's
Hill
her,
Road.
is that her address? Is that Ms. Williams'
Is that the
address?
actual address, Sam?
I believe
Is
it
it
that-
showing on the map there?
She would be just to the north. You can scroll on up.
Shows on the one that you gave us.
There's her house.
Okay, so yes, basically,
Is that a
so
problem
when
with
you
advertisement?
approve or deny that, it's gonna apply to that whole tract. So then when you further subdivide it, I would think that that variance would go, now, I'm not a lawyer, but I would think that that variance would go with any subdivision of that tract as well.
If you put the variance to the entire property, that's true. We only desire to reduce the building line on the proposed 1 acre lot, which,
But that acre lot doesn't exist yet. It's not been approved. If there, for some reason it was to get denied, then this whole process is moved.
Bert, what's the normal procedure now? Does she go back to planning and zoning and get a request
I
to?
don't know if there is a normal procedure. I think, if you don't want to ask for the variance, for the entire tract,
I don't think we have any opposition to asking for the entire tract. I don't think we need that, but if it suits the board, if that's what you suggest, we'll be happy to reduce the building line on the entire property, but.
I guess my
it's-
concern from a legal standpoint is when we advertised this in the paper and on site, it was for this
advertised as 1185, which doesn't exist.
which doesn't exist, and the actual address we'd be given a variance for would be 1209 College Hill
And
Road.
you've not advertised
And
that.
we have not advertised that as
You've not
per,
notified the surrounding property owners.
per the ordinance
Put a sign on it
and
all
stuff.
that.
That would probably be a little bit of an issue.
I think so.
But again, in the past, we've done this exact process, but the first I've encountered this, we've done multiple site plans on proposed
I know we've done some
properties.
conditional use permits, for people that were proposing to operate, some kind of permit on property they didn't own, but that conditional use permit is different from the variance.
Right,
in that
it follows the
it follows
business,
the
not
person.
the property. So,
It does, this is actually becomes part of the property. This property doesn't exist, it's not been subdivided yet, the proposed acre I'm talking about. So I think you open yourself up to a legal challenge there by not doing it,
In
the way we're
sequence.
talking about, by trying to get a variance on a piece of property and an address that doesn't exist. I don't think that's.
I guess in my mind, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Without the variance, I'm not sure the project goes
You
forward.
you don't wanna.
So how
divide-
are we supposed to deed an acre?
Other
hoping
than,
we get a variance?
other than taking the pulse of the board, which they're not gonna take any official vote.
I understand. But again, like I said, and the reason we've done it this way, we've done several in the past.
And the other option is
So-
to ask for the variance for the whole tract, and then that, what would be the downside of asking for the variance for the whole 9 acres?
We have no problem with that, other than have we made proper notifications, are we prepared to take
Yeah.
that vote?
No, I don't
tonight?
think you have. We can come back and do that. If your concern is the double-edged sword, then we can re-advertise, re-notify, do a new application for the whole tract, and then come back for another meeting and do the whole tract.
We
But-
can't ask for the variance on the proposed 1 acre, there's no, like I said, we've done it in the past with no problems at all.
Well, but we need to quit talking about what's been done in the
I
past, because that
understand.
has no bearing on what we're doing.
Tonight, can we
tonight.
ask for it on the proposed 1 acre
I
parcel?
don't think so. That's just my opinion. I'm not, and obviously our attorney's not here.
For a portion of property, you know,
It's not been advertised properly with the proper address and,
Yeah.
and
So
proper
we've
notification.
asked for, we've
Well, the
notified and we've
proposed-
advertised 1185.
but Megan gave us the 1185 for the proposed 1 acre, and that's all we're asking for the variance for.
She's our address.
She had the county address.
And that will
for
be the address
1185.
whenever the property exists and gets subdivided into that. But I guess my biggest concern would be we haven't followed the ordinance or notifying the
Notification.
proper
She's
neighbors.
officially put the address,
I have an email from
She
her
has.
giving it
we put
1185.
addresses on several things in our houses, we've got addresses.
Doesn't exist yet.
The address exists, there's just no structure that exists.
But the property doesn't exist either.
Technically, when we do a survey, even if we do a minor plat, the property doesn't exist until a deed has been transferred. The minor plat doesn't make transfer of the property, it's a proposed division in itself. So anytime we turn a minor plat into you guys, until the deed is transferred, that lot does not exist legally until the deed is made, so.
Right. But there'll be a deed made in this case, and there'll be a plat recorded, and all that will be done.
We were hoping to have a variance along the fence.
Well, I guess I'm trying to,
All right, well, if we granted the variance tonight, though, what would you file that with? What property would you attach it to?
1185, the proposed
Which
one.
doesn't exist. What time, what is, somebody from the church here that wants to
Yeah, we got
to
several
speak?
people.
Yes,
What's
we're
your,
all
what's
here.
your, what's your timeframe? Are you in a big timeframe, in a crunch to get this done by a deadline?
We need to start breaking ground before bad weather.
Yeah.
This is a lady that owns this property here, Margaret Williams. She's very graciously given this property for this building.
Right.
1 acre.
Right.
So, I don't see,
And if we don't get the variance,
We
then
don't
we're
get
not
the variance,
building.
we can't build.
I understand, I'm not saying you're not gonna get the variance. I'm just saying if you don't get it the right way, it may not be legal.
Well, with Mr. Webb's expertise, I think we should trust at what he's going on, because he has done this many, many
Right,
times.
I understand
And
that.
he's very professional at what he's doing, and we trust him.
As are we, and we
totally.
wanna make sure that everything's done right. And that benefits you all in the long run.
If there were other.
Nobody is not wanting you to get this variance or to be able to do this project. We just wanna make sure that it's done properly, so nobody can ever come back and challenge the legality of it.
I don't know what's gonna go in between there, but we don't know.
but you're,
we need to start.
Yeah.
Right, everyone needs to be sworn in for this.
Okay,
Property
there
owner
were-
separated and looked at the land already within this 12 months prior to this.
Because we gotta take.
Because you can't do it so many separations
Oh, okay.
within a time.
They should have checked that.
State your name and address for me, please.
all right, gentlemen.
Talk up here.
Okay. You're talking about
Name,
legality.
whoa, whoa,
and-
whoa. Name and address for me, please.
My name is Beverly Desire, and I live at 550 Bend Road.
All right, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
I am.
Go right ahead.
All right. Now, we're worried about people not wanting to do this, or someone may complain about this variance and with the property that you described here. Now, when you look around at this thing, the property that joins what we're talking about is the church. The church is not going to complain about it. And the next piece of property is the graveyard, and I'm certain they're not going to complain about it. Okay, and Margaret, which is here, she lives on the other side. So there's no one, and across the road, we own the parsonage. We got that whole corner covered. So who's going to complain? There's no one.
He's not saying anybody's gonna complain, he's worried about if it's gonna be legal, that's all.
Well,
I don't think anybody's gonna complain about it at
I
all.
don't think so either.
but the thing is, gentlemen, we're really asking for your indulgence here, because, you know, if we don't get this, and we're gonna have to wait another month or 6 weeks for you guys to decide on that, and then it's gonna be bad weather, and then we're gonna have to wait till spring. And we really need to get started on this, gentlemen. If there's any way that you can see to let us do this, we'd certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We can bounce this off maybe as maybe an option. Can we do the 75-foot, the 50-foot reduction for the most southern 200 feet
I think
of
the
Ms.
biggest,
Williams' property.
I think the biggest concern here is we advertised to the public that it was for 1185 College Hill Road. And if we put it on her property, we're saying to the public that 1209 College Hill Road got a variance.
But 1185 will be part of 1209. If 1185 will be the 200 most southern feet of her property. That's the proposed 1185. And we won't carry the variance any further. That 1185 was advertised, 1185 is an official address. It's proposed to be the southernmost 200 feet of Ms. Williams' property. And we don't need the variance any further.
That's where the county's address, or put the address.
She put the address there at 1185. We sent her a very copy of this plan, and this is what she addressed.
Bert, is there a way to conditionally do a motion on this only on the property under the condition that this property gets transferred within a reasonable
Well, I'm
amount?
not so sure it even needs to be, say, transferred. If you could just say maybe something, that the proposed minor plat, is submitted and approved, recorded, the deeds made, and that property does end up being 1185, and that property is the
Then-
200
Then the
most
dimensional
southern, 200
variance applies.
The southern
most
200
southern
foot of Ms. Williams'
of
property.
that property.
So then that way it covers both things. It gets the church to get this property approved with a 70 or a 50-foot variance, and it also doesn't allow a variance on the whole property, because we don't know what's gonna happen in the future
No, you don't.
on the rest of that property.
It seems reasonable to me, but again, I'm not an attorney. What's your?
That was my thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's go with a condition that it.
I mean, that's a lot of
specific-
conditions put on it, but that's what y'all do, you put conditions on everything, so if you can word it in a way that spells all that out, and it goes into the minutes and says, this
Specifically
piece of
what it's
property
for.
with the proposed official address of 1185, that it consists of the southernmost 200 feet and exactly 1 acre,
Exactly 1 acre.
and, also conditional upon the plat being approved. And if all of those things don't happen, then the variance is
No one for it.
removed
I don't think we
or
have any
withdrawn.
problems with that.
My only question, Bert, was, and I don't know if y'all researched it or Jay has, I know there's limitations on how many times you can draw off of land within a certain time period.
Well, that would only be if they had any intentions of
Has it,
dividing the property any
hasn't been
further
divided.
down the
Ms.
road. I
Williams
don't
has
think
had this
that's-
property for,
Once this is done, then.
gosh, this
probably already
survey was
gonna do
done in the
something.
70s and nothing's been
This
divided
land's been
since.
in our family for 200
Yeah,
years.
yeah. So that would only come into play if they had,
More
if they had other
divisions are
plans.
proposed, but at this point there are none.
Let's go with it. Y'all have any further questions then? Does any of the audience have any further questions, comments they wanna make? Anybody else wanna come speak? No one? If not, I'll open the floor for a motion then.
I would like to make a motion that we approve a dimensional variance for the proposed address property at 1185 College Hill Road, Waco, Kentucky. This would be for the southernmost 200 feet or 1 acre. And this is also conditional on the plat being approved and recorded.
With the deed.
And the dimensional variance would be for a 50 feet.
I get it. Do I have a
Second motion.
Call the roll, please.
Wayne Pinkowski,
Yes.
Ralph Oliver,
yes.
Howard Bowden,
Yes.
Jimmy Rogers.
Should I, can I vote? I'll say
Substitute.
yes.
Okay. George Dillon.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you working
Yeah.
with us on this. Thank you.
Thank you all. Gentlemen, the second case on the agenda. All right, the second item we have on our agenda is a conditional use for, I guess it's 671 Brookstown Road, for Sue Hobbs. Sue Hobbs, are you here?
Yes, sir.
All right, you want to come to the podium and state your name and address for me for the record, please?
Okay. Sue Hobbs.
All right, Ms. Hobbs, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as pertains to this case?
I'm sorry, please?
Do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
Yes, I do.
All right, continue for me, please.
I'm Sue Hobbs. This is so weird. I've known this guy since he was teeny tiny. But anyhow, Sue Hobbs. This is my husband, Don Hobbs. We've got a 50-acre farm, 671 Brookstown Road. We also have a greenhouse business that we've been selling mostly to the neighbors, just mostly the run-of-the-mill vegetable plants, and we've had a really good sale. But now we want to forge ahead and expand on that greenhouse business by building perhaps another greenhouse and also add in mulch and compost, and calling it Hobbs Greenhouse and Garden Center. So it just is simple, but that's all it is, guys, is just a greenhouse.
Now, do you plan on having people come to the greenhouse, or are you
Yes,
gonna
yes,
deliver
sir.
it to it?
They would be coming to the greenhouse.
You gonna be doing wholesale business, or just retail, or both, or?
I would do both.
You sort of remote, back there off that road and back there.
That's the only thing
woods.
that's kind of against us. We're 7 miles out of town, but we actually had a really good response from, just the local people around, because we grow really good plants. I'm not bragging, but we do grow really good plants, and we don't use a lot of chemicals. Only fertilizer we use is Miracle-Gro, so we're as close to organic as we could possibly be, but we don't deem ourselves as organic growers. But that's it.
Do you anticipate getting a lot of traffic as far as contractors, homeowners out there, or?
I would hope
Who's
I
gonna be
would
your
get
biggest customer, you think? I mean,
our
Yeah.
biggest customer
yeah.
is just the local people.
Just the local people in
Yes.
the area? Okay.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Is there one entry into the property, or
There
is
is.
there's, as far as trucks going into the property, if you're delivering mulch or getting mulch out, what are you thinking about?
We were thinking about like the dump trucks, cause we have gravel delivered. I don't have that knowledge how big a dump truck is, but they deliver gravel up there all the time.
Small dump truck.
Will it be
Yeah.
triaxle or single
No
axle?
triaxle.
Single axle.
Yeah. And that's how we were gonna get the compost and the mulch from Creech Services out of Lexington. And I know I know Mr. Rogers has been out there, right, and, Pinkowski.
Yep.
So, I mean, what do you all think? Am I just,
Well, the road it's a county road, it's not a state road. So
Right.
there are some considerations there on the entryway. You and I had talked a little bit
Right.
about line of sight is a consideration on that curve. And I know, Ralphie, you're familiar with that area as well.
right?
Yeah,
Uh,
my only concern was that culvert there. If the trucks get off and start hitting that culvert, I don't know how we ask the county to get a 30 or 36 or whatever we need in there instead of what we got. I mean, I know coming in
No.
with tractors and stuff there.
Now, the one, like Richard's house is here?
Right
the
there,
one
yeah,
that's
right when we
here?
first turned in there.
Oh, okay.
Because I could see, I mean, it's happened, I've seen it's happened on mine. The
Mhm.
first time a dump truck comes in and closes that culvert out, that
Mhm.
water's gonna wash everything else out because it's gonna stop up there.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be, if she wanted to change that culvert out, that would be her responsibility. Now, the county would install it, but she'd be responsible. for it.
Gotcha. That would be a suggestion I would make. As for, that would help you, I would think, on your entryway and maybe something we're talking about too, what kind of signage you're gonna put there, or,
The signage that we've been using is just the regular yard signs.
Mhm.
But, hopefully we would be very successful and we could, get bigger signage. But right now, it's just the regular little yard signs.
Have we had any complaints from neighbors, calls, anything like that?
No,
No, we actually advertised it twice, cause it was supposed to be on the agenda for the last meeting, we had an issue come up.
No
Right.
issues there?
No, I have had a call asking what it is, but that was it.
and we've had
Wow.
one neighbor that was gonna be here to support us, but he didn't show up.
You support it.
Well, regardless, there's no one in the audience
Right.
in opposition or.
And there
support
was
for you.
last meeting, there was two,
For.
not for opposition, just for curiosity.
Just curiosity.
And
Oh, really?
I talked to them.
Who was it?
The lady lives right there, not beside you there,
Car,
Curve,
Richard and Paula?
was lady.
No, it wasn't
Would have
Richard,
been
I know
Richard and
Yeah.
Paula.
Richard was here, but he left. He was
Okay.
something else.
And then,
Well, we didn't tell him we had a.
Actually, he brought my glasses in too.
Oh, really?
well, we
He figured who it
advertised,
was.
we sent a letter to each property that adjoins.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they were
Oh, okay.
aware.
Oh, I see, okay. But,
So you've already got a greenhouse and you've already got all this set up, you're not gonna build anything,
Yes.
not gonna really change anything, you're just gonna.
no, just, one addition, another greenhouse. We got a 30 by 60 right now. And I wanted to add a smaller greenhouse just for the hanging baskets because it's quite expensive to heat that big 30 by 60 greenhouse. So I was gonna get a smaller one and, you know, to heat it better, cause hanging baskets, you have to start those in February.
Do the board members have any further questions, comments? Do you have anything else you wanna add, Ms. Hobbs?
Nope, that's it.
If not, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I'd like to propose that we grant a conditional use permit for the property located at 671 Brookstown Road, with the following conditions. Hours of operation will be 8 AM till 6 PM from May 1st through and including October 31st. The conditional use of the property is to allow for a garden and greenhouse center operation. The entry and exit drive will be maintained and clear cut to provide a 100-foot line of sight when exiting or leaving the property. In addition, a maximum of a 2-foot by 4-foot road sign will be allowed from May 1st through October 31st.
Okay, perfect.
Do I hear a second?
so second.
Call roll, please.
Jimmy Rogers?
Yes.
Howard Bowden?
Yes.
Wayne Pinkowski?
Yes?
Ralph Oliver?
Yes.
George Dillon?
Yes.
Oh,
Congratulations.
so that's it?
Yes.
That's it.
Oh, wow, thank you all.
We'll be out to buy flowers next year.
Yay.
Or vegetables.
You better.
Just follow him right there.
Oh, I gotta go with you. Okay, thank you all so much.
You're in their hands now.
Okay, have a good evening.
Thank you, ma'am.
See y'all.
Bye.
See,
I'll expect y'all to come by some plants.
All right. Be there.
Make a motion that we adjourn, if there's no
Second.
other business. All right, we're adjourned. So just make a motion or just say I'm gonna adjourn the meeting? Okay.
Good man.
In the future, do we
Are
wanna,
we adjourned?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
adjourned. Turn it off.
do we wanna look at maybe on this first, like this first thing that we look at is just tabling it and getting Jubal's advice or?
Well, I thought about that, continuing it until the next meeting, but I didn't feel like the church, the people there, that wasn't gonna be fair to them.